will be the victims of an armed struggle. And when I went in, I found the opposite to be true. I found that 50% of the armed cadre were women. And a lot of the reason they joined was because for 30 years, the Maoists had been working with women there. It was a women's organization which has 90,000 members, which is probably the biggest feminist organization in India. Now, all 90,000 of those women are surely Maoists, and the government has given itself the right to shoot on sight. So are they going to shoot these 90,000 people?
Arundhati Roy, the leader of the Maoists, has asked you to be the negotiator, the mediator between them and the Indian government. What is your response?
Look, I wouldn't be a good mediator. You know, those are not my skills. I think that somebody should do it, but I don't think that it should be me, because I have no idea how to mediate, you know, and I don't think that we should be jumping into things that we don't know much about, you know. And I certainly, I did say that, you know, I mean, I don't know why they mentioned my name, but I think there are people in India who have those skills and who could do it, because it's very, very urgent that this Operation Green Hunt be called off. Very, very urgent, you know. But it would be silly for someone like me to enter that, because I think I'm too impatient. I'm too much of a maverick, you know. I don't have those skills.
I remember back to Kashmir when President Obama was running for president, Senator Obama, in an interview talked about Kashmir. And he talked about it as a kind of flashpoint, said that we have to resolve the situation between India and Pakistan around Kashmir so that Pakistan can focus on the militants. Can you talk about it as being a flashpoint and what you think needs to be done there?
Well, I think, you know, unfortunately, the thing about Kashmir is that India and Pakistan act as though Kashmir is a problem. But really for them both, Kashmir is a solution. You know, Kashmir is where they play their dirty games. And they don't want to solve it, because whenever they have you know, internal problems, they can always pull this bunny out of the hat. So it's really I really think that these two countries are not going to solve it, you know. And what is happening is that there is a population of people who have been suffering untold misery for so many years, you know. And once again, so many lies have been told about it. The Indian media is just, the falsification that's it's involved with about Kashmir is unbelievable. Like 2 years ago, was it last year? 2 years ago, there was a massive uprising in Kashmir. I happened to be there at the time. I've never seen anything like this, you know. There were millions of people on the street all the time. And
they were rising up for?
They were rising up for independence. You know, they were rising up for independence. And then that uprising was, you know, when they rose up with arms, that was wrong. When they rose up without arms, that was wrong too. And the way it was diffused was with an election. An election was called. And then everybody was shocked because there was a huge turnout in the elections. And all the, you know, we have many election experts in India who spend all their time in television studios analyzing the swing and this and that. But nobody said that all the leaders of the resistance were arrested. Nobody asked, what does it mean to have elections when there's 700,000 soldiers supervising every 5 meters? All the time, all year round. They don't have to push people on the end of a bayonet to the voting booth, you know. Nobody talked about the fact that there was a lockdown in every constituency. Nobody wondered what does it mean to people who are under that kind of occupation. The fact that they need somebody to to go to, you know, when someone disappears, or, you know, they need some representative. So now, once again, the violence has started. You know, there's a permanent sort of cycle where, obviously in the interests of geopolitical jockeying, any sense of morality is missing. And of course, it's very fashionable to say that, you know, there isn't any morality involved in international diplomacy. But suddenly, when it comes to Maoist killing, you know, morality just comes riding down on your head. You know, so people use it when they want to.
And Arundhati, in both India and the United States, as these wars expand, as the military occupations, as you delineated in Kashmir, in Iraq, in Afghanistan, as they expand, what is your message to anti-war activists, to peace activists around the world, here and in India? What do you think people need to be doing?
See, I think I just want to say one thing more, which is that in Kashmir you have, as I said, 700,000 soldiers who have been turned into an administrative police force. In India, where they don't want to openly declare war against the Adivasis, you have a paramilitary police which is being trained to be an army. So the police are turning into the army is turning into the police. But to push through this growth rate, you know, you have basically this whole country is turning into a police state. And I just want to say one thing about democracy. You know, in India, the elections they cost more than the American elections, much more. This poor country cost much more. The most enthusiastic were the corporates. The members of parliament are, a majority of them are millionaires. If you look at the statistics, actually this big majority, it has 10% of the vote. The BBC had a campaign where they had posters of a dollar bill, $500 bill, sort of molting into a Indian 500 rupee note with Ben Franklin on one end and Gandhi on the other. And it said, "Kya India ka vote badlega duniya ka note?" Meaning, will the Indian vote save the market? You know, so voters become consumers. It's a kind of scam that's going on. So the first message I would have to peace activists is, I don't know what that means anyway. What does peace mean? You know, we may not need peace in this unjust society, because that's a way of accepting injustice, you know. So what you need is people who are prepared to resist, but not just on a weekend, not just saying, okay, we'll march on Saturday and maybe they'll stop the war in Iraq. But in countries like India, now people are really paying with their lives, with their freedom, with everything. I mean, it's resistance with consequences now. You know, it cannot be something that has no consequences. You know, it may not have, but you've got to understand that in order to change something, you've got to take some risks now. You've got to come out and lay those dreams on the line now, you know, because things have come to a very, very bad place there.
Arundhati Roy, we want to thank you very much for being with us. Her latest book is called Field Notes on Democracy, Listening to Grasshoppers. I look forward to being with you and Noam Chomsky in Cambridge in a week. I'm Amy Goodman with Anjali Kamat. Thanks so much for joining.